Hello, and welcome to our latest update for the Insight to Impact dashboards. My name is Paige Tooley, a project manager at TEA, and I will be walking you through our latest updates. In addition to myself, this presentation was also put together by Mark Olofsson. I look forward to providing you some updates on our Insight to Impact dashboards that are coming soon. During this webinar, I've had the opportunity to welcome you briefly, and I will also be providing you some background and overview on the Insight to Impact dashboard project. We'll go through the current progress to date, as well as our future plans for the dashboards. In order to align us for today's conversation, I want to take a moment to take a look at the mission, which is we strive to ensure data quality and integrity in every stage of the reporting and continuous improvement processes. We aim to support all educator preparation programs as learning organizations through our responsiveness and adaptability. This mission is what has guided our work on the Insight to Impact dashboards. The overall purpose of the Insight to Impact dashboard project is to enable EPPs to get greater access to data. With this additional data, EPPs will be able to use it to affect positive programmatic changes that affect programs across the state. In addition, EPPs will have additional insight into their program completers and what happens to their candidates once they leave their programs. The Insight to Impact dashboards will give a variety of data that can be viewed, interpreted, and communicated in multiple ways to stakeholders across the state. Finally, EPPs will benefit from data that comes from multiple TEA sources, being displayed in data visualizations that can be useful for reporting and ultimately impact decision-making for programmatic changes. Now I would like us to take a look at our current focus around the EPP dashboards. This project has a two-pronged approach, the first of which is TEA investing in data infrastructure that ensures data is more accessible for EPPs. In addition to this, EPP-facing dashboards are being developed to promote EPP use of data for decision-making. This project will support EPPs in multiple ways. The first way is that it will drive improvement and innovation in educator preparation. By providing high quality and actionable data on EPP inputs, processes, and outcomes, this project will support programmatic improvement. Next, it will efficiently process and disseminate new information by connecting additional TEA data sources to data EPP reports. This project will increase the quantity of data available to EPPs. Next, it will increase EPP data quality. By applying business rules to the new, flexible, but well-defined data pipelines, this project will improve data quality as EPPs gain access to more robust and real-time data validation processes. Finally, it will increase partnership with LEAs and stakeholders in several ways. First, this project will have training and support components that ensure EPPs shape and understand the information being provided. Next, it will generate technology that supports data integration and updating and allow access to a broader set of teacher production metrics. And finally, it will increase transparency and stakeholder access so that EPPs and the general public will be able to access dashboards that display data on teacher production. Overall, educator preparation programs, the Texas Education Agency, districts and charters or local education agencies, and future teachers will all benefit from the additional information that will be made available through the Insight to Impact dashboard project. Now I'd like to walk us through more information related to where this project is currently. Collaboration has been at the forefront of this work. An EPP stakeholder group has been integral to gathering input related to what is the most effective and useful for EPPs within these dashboards. In addition, they have helped design mock-ups that serve as a preliminary visualization for what these dashboards will ultimately look like. Finally, we aim to keep the greater EPP community informed about this work, and through webinars such as this, we'll continue to do so throughout the duration of the project. On the slide, you will see the essential questions that have been defined by our EPP stakeholder engagement group. In addition, using these essential questions, our EPP stakeholder group is developing use cases and helping to define and drive our visualization mockups for the dashboards. In addition to the 6 questions that are listed here, we will have one additional question related to student growth that will be defined and mocked up by our EPP stakeholder group. Now I'd like to take a look at the work so far. First, we began by defining the project scope with stakeholders, the TEAIT team, as well as funders. We next moved into finding a technical vendor that could help support our new data infrastructure model. From there, a stakeholder engagement group was formed to help us define our content, including use cases and mock-up designs for the dashboards. And finally, we've moved into the technical development phase. We've already stood up some technical infrastructure, and we're working on the transition of the stakeholder mockups into dashboards for our launch. The Insight to Impact dashboards are currently being developed. On the screen, you'll see a screenshot for the initial employment dashboard. This dashboard is designed to help EPPs better understand the first placement of their program completers within LEAs. Each EPP will have access to a dashboard that's specific to their program, as well as state aggregate dashboards. At the top of the screen, you'll see some filters that EPP users will be able to utilize to dynamically change the visualizations on the screen. In this dashboard, they're able to filter along LEA, campus, certification year, certification type, race, and sex. You also see in this visualization the variety of ways that data may be displayed, including bar charts, tables, as well as maps. Altogether, this information will be able to be used in reporting as well as decision making for EPPs as they dig deeper into their data. The next slide shows information related to the employment and retention dashboard. Within this dashboard, EPPs will be able to again see their specific programs information, and they'll also be able to view a visualization that has state aggregate information. The filters at the top can again be selected in a variety of ways for certification year, program type, LEA, certification type, race, and sex, so that the visualizations on the screen can dynamically be changed based on the data that EPPs are trying to view. There is an employment map so that EPPs can see where their candidates ultimately land after finishing their program. They can also see information related to how their roles may be changing over time and if they stay in the field. The next slide shows the dashboard related to candidate characteristics. Within this dashboard, EPPs have a new option which will allow them to view information related to candidates based on the admission cohort or the academic year. When EPPs select the admission cohort, they will be able to view information about candidates that were enrolled in the program at the same time. If they select to look at information related to an academic year, they will be able to look at individuals based on a specific time period, but not necessarily individuals that were enrolled in the same admission cohort. The filters at the top allow EPPs to look at a specific year. It also allows them to filter based on certification area and grade level, program category, certification status, race, and sex. Again, based on these selections, the visualizations on the screen will dynamically change to display their information. The dashboard overall shows information related to cohort member status, which will include looking at how individuals move through admission, enrollment, completion, and certification based on the selection of the EPP. There will also be information related to the program, the race and ethnicity, and gender of the candidates. This information will be specific to the EPPs, but will also have information that can be displayed at a state level for EPP comparison. This final screenshot displays information related to our most recently developed dashboard looking at pass rates for candidates. Again, this information will be able to be viewed by the admission cohort or the academic year. There will also be an opportunity to make a selection based on the specific tests that EPPs want to view, either the PPR, STR, or content exam. And finally, EPPs will be able to filter based on the attempt that they want to view for their candidates: first attempt, second attempt, or best attempt. The filters at the top will again have the opportunity to be selected by the EPP user, looking at year, certification area grade level, certification route, race, and sex. And all of these selections will dynamically change the visualizations on the screen. On this page, you'll see that EPPs will be able to view specific information for their programs related to candidate pass rates, and they will be able to see the pass rates disaggregated by gender and race and ethnicity. They will also have the opportunity to look at the exams based on the pass or not pass and by the attempt number that the candidates are on. Again, this information will also be available at a state level so that EPPs can use this information to compare their program to state averages. With that review, we can now take a look at what's going to happen moving forward. Collaboration has been key throughout this project. As we move forward, this collaboration will continue with people within the field. We will have support from our EPP stakeholder engagement group as we continue defining our essential questions as well as creating use cases and mock-ups. We'll also have opportunities for feedback from people in the field related to the dashboards that are developed. Our technical work has been iterative up until this point, and we plan to continue using a phased approach, moving through each essential question from use case, mock-up, to dashboard development. We've also had players, timelines, and capacity that have been in flux. And so as we move forward, we will see that not all phases may look identical, but will be based on the needs for creating effective dashboards for the field. In all, these combine together to ensure that we're moving towards increased transparency, as well as actionable data that will be able to be utilized by EPPs in the future. Next, it's important that we take a look at the benefits for EPPs, LEAs, as well as TEA. The first of these is that interoperability is addressed by ensuring that data collected in multiple places can now be housed and funneled into one place. The data visualizations will provide consistency in models so that EPPs are all looking at similar visualizations of their data. It also creates a space in which updates are transparent, supported, and publicly governed as these dashboards continue to be developed and maintained. In all, this supports work to update the K-12 models into Ed5 standards across the state. Our next steps can be defined in 3 different buckets, the first of which is specify. Within this, we will be defining the remainder of the essential questions with the support of the stakeholder engagement group. We'll also have feedback from our EPP stakeholders to take a look at draft mockups as well as the end dashboard designs. We will focus on our continued build work, which is the technical work, as well as building and testing the dashboards. And finally, we will take a look more in the support area, focusing on supporting EPPs so they understand the opportunities for use with these dashboards, as well as supporting an overall shift in mindset towards high quality preparation. This timeline shows the remainder of our work with the big milestones, the first of which occurs in December of 2022, when we will conclude our stakeholder engagement process after having defined use cases as well as mock-ups for all of our essential questions. In January of 2023, we will conclude dashboard development, and by February of 2023, we will be prepared to launch the public-facing dashboards and supporting materials for EPPs. The last portion of this presentation is dedicated to some questions and their answers that have come up frequently throughout the Insight to Impact dashboard project work. I encourage you to review each of these questions and answers and let us know in further communications if there are other pieces of information that you or your organization need. Lastly, thank you so much for your time and your focus on this project. We encourage you to look for additional information related to this project as well as other important information in your weekly EPP newsletter.